Hello, welcome back to Mountain Gym Card Collectibles. Hope you're having a great Memorial Day weekend and a great Memorial Day. Anyway, I just want to talk about collecting today. And, if you are a serious collector, and I know that people kind of look at collectors like they're almost like rare species of animals these days, maybe like a Bigfoot, you know, something along those lines that you just don't see every day. And you'd ask yourself, what would it take to really, go wholeheartedly into collecting a player these days, with all the constant, set printing, unlicensed, autos, short prints, numbered cards, die cuts, whatever. And, when I was growing up, I was hunting down, just a lot of Barry Bonds base cards here and there. There weren't as many to deal with, in the early years of the Barry Bonds career, 80s, 90s, you started to see more and more as you got closer to 2000, I wasn't like trying to collect all of his base cards then, but, there were a few years where I was trying to, you have his rookie card, you want to have his base cards, so I'd have like the Score, Donruss, Upper Deck, all these different base cards for Barry Bonds, through the years. There just wasn't the number of rookie cards to chase as, in our current model of sports cards. And I know that, by the late 80s, early 90s, we always like to slap on this label, junk wax era, where all these companies had licenses and they printed cards. And at the time, I remember like my friends, just we'd be standing around looking at all of these cards, asking ourselves what happened here, it's like in comparison to the mid 80s. But when I look back at the junk wax era, there are things I like about it because, if you want to collect a card, you typically want a licensed card, and the junk wax era, you could follow a company if you like their cards and you get licensed products, and you wouldn't just get stuck in the same, wash, rinse, and repeat of, say, Topps, regurgitating, the same card over and over and over, through a player's career from the rookie card, to the end of their career, say for baseball. It's not just them, it's Panini, it's all these companies that like to do it, but it's typically the licensed companies that just keep printing and printing and printing. And so you have to ask yourself, what kind of person would it take to be a full collector for a player? And, I'm not sure if you're a Lewis Robert collector. I just posted up this eBay, page that has some Lewis Robert cards. Here's a PSA 10 Lewis Robert. First 28 Bowman Chrome prospects. Going for $48.52. 47 sold. Someone obviously has a lot of those cards to sell. And, if you're a Lewis Robert fan, I recommend, going to eBay and check it out. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going down the eBay Lewis Robert thing, but, let's just say you're a fan, and I just want to point out something here, so you're getting to the first Bowmans, and he likely has cards before this first Bowman. And then, you roll into the 2020 year rookie card. That's his official rookie year is 2020, okay? I could pick this one up for $20 right now. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Do I want a Lewis Robert auto at this point? A rookie auto? I really don't. I mean, I could pick this one up not thinking twice about it with, but I'm not doing it, all right? But let's just say that you decide to go wholeheartedly in the Lewis Robert. Well, then we come to this post. And this post is kind of ugly. Why is it ugly? Well, this is actually from Topps. Topps, has this thing, incredible. This is from May 24th. It's the guy on X, I guess Shane Tippin, decided to break out the Lewis Robert collection again. 2,651 individual unique Robert cards. Now we're just 5 years into his career. Look at this. Look at this. All right, so you want to be a collector, huh? And you just want to collect one guy. And it just drives you crazy because you can't have all the cards of that one guy. And I've been there. I've been that guy. I mean, you're just so addicted to, getting all the base, getting all the rookies, get all the autos possible. I have walked down this road, and in theory, I decided to not walk down this road any further. Because in today's age of collecting, it's if you were just doing this during the junk wax era, you're going to have a lot of cards, of the same player, they're pretty much all licensed. But you're just not going to see the volume of individual cards like we have for Lewis Robert. I mean, the print press is just ka-thunk, 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 ka-thunk. More and more Lewis Robert cards. And I'm sure this guy has to add them to his collection, because, gotta do it. And I'm not sure if maybe he was even doing this to prove a point, about collecting. The ridiculousness of it, are you a collector? I mean, if this is what it takes to be a collector, no, I am not, man. I mean, this is just insanity. Okay, so, may as well look at some replies. Why not? Let's get into some replies on this. I'm guessing he spent more than he will ever get back on these. Yes, that's going down the road of a true collector here. Here's one. I think it's telling of the baseball card hobby that a player who has been in the majors for 5 seasons has this many cards available. Talk about oversaturation. And I'm not sure if those are all just Topps cards, and think about it. Let's just say he's strictly collecting Topps. It's very possible that those are all just his Topps cards. You'd have to throw in all the other unlicensed, guys printing them out, and I just don't know if those are there. This guy, wrong guy to collect. Ouch. It's not hard to collect cards of a player that's not very popular. They're all pretty cheap on eBay. Yes, but eventually, let's just say you're paying $1. That's a lot of money. I mean, it's close to $3,000 if you're paying one. And he's likely not paying $1 a card. And then we have this one. This is cool, but definitely puts things into perspective. Nothing is rare anymore unless it's stamped and they change the color of the border on the same card everyone else has. That's not how you retain any value over time. That's how you raise profits 6% a year over time. There you go. Because really, you have to see the narcissism of the corporation who's constantly printing the stuff out. I mean, in this day and age, I'd almost call it the narcissist wax era. It's all about Topps. It's all about Panini getting the license and just printing it to Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, and beyond. I mean, what can you say? Here's one. He's batting 180. Yeah, an incredible waste of money. So, ask yourself, like I said earlier, if you just spent $1 a card, he'd have $2,651 spent. That's a lot of money, and he's got them slabbed up and stuff. Do you really want? I mean, if you are going out saying that you're a collector of a player. Are you truly a collector of a player? Because if you truly are a collector of a player, it's going to get out of control. I mean, you're going to have to build yourself a library. That's just it for this amount of cards. And what would you do with this amount of cards? I could just see myself taking pictures of these cards all day, all night, listing. And I'd probably have a heart attack somewhere along the way. What's going on? I'm selling all my Lewis Robert collection. My camera just died, just literally died, it just gave up. So, anyway, are we overprinting stuff? Is this a red flag of collecting? I think it is to an extent. And if you're going into this market, buying players' cards, and maybe you are chasing a better player, rather than Lewis Robert. I hope you are, What's it going to do to you in the long game, And do you have the budget, to truly collect a player? Kind of like I was doing with Barry Bonds in his early years, trying to, ratchet up a lot of those base cards, which honestly I've sold a lot of them. So it didn't even really matter. I guess I was collecting to sell them. And then, with the sports card manufacturers, I mean, I think people want to believe, well, at least we're not in the junk wax era. Yeah, well, you're in an overprint era to no end here. Whether it's autographs, whether it's short prints, whether it's numbered cards, you name it, it is getting overprinted, whether it's licensed or unlicensed. Anymore, I see some prices on some autograph cards, and maybe they are better players, that's great, but the overprinting of them, it just, you look at it, and I know that everyone who is wholeheartedly collecting, that they want to have something that's rare and scarce that a lot of other people don't have, Give yourself a pat on the back. You did it. But more and more, it is getting tougher to fulfill that role, Would you be better mining for gold? Because there is a rare and scarcity to mining gold. I every now and then, I have a gravel bucket from a local creek, I mine gold every now and then, Why not? I'm getting some gold, But it's not my favorite hobby, I would prefer to, collect cards. The issue with cards, though, is, just like that picture shows you, 2,651, whatever it was. 5 years into it, and those are all different cards, for a player that really isn't very popular, he's not like a big name out there, I mean, if you were the Shohei Ohtani guy, I would put myself in the poorhouse, so to speak. I would be on the streets right now if I was like trying to collect every Shohei Ohtani card. And then you're paying, some big prices on them. That's just it. It's just tougher and tougher and tougher to fill the role of a collector these days. I wish they'd stop printing. I wish some of these players would stop signing. I wish a lot of this would change so that we're not living in this modern age of sports card overprinting to the point to where it's ridiculous, So anyway, if you have any different comments on, being a collector these days, leave them. That would be awesome. Thank you to all my subscribers. You're the ones keeping this channel together. Thank you to all my viewers. And if you haven't subscribed as a viewer, it's 100% free. Anyway, hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. I'm out of here. Bye.